Okay, guys, this is coming across the wire. I was waiting for a little bit of information on it. So, uh, C3 got some big news. This is a stock that's been absolutely pummeled for a long time now, since getting up into the 180s, down as low as into the high 20s per share. I did a little bit of a breakdown on this one the other day. I just figured I'd follow up. I couldn't actually believe the timing. With all the news coming out, the earnings looked okay. The stock still got pummeled. We saw a little bit of an uptick the other day. Let me just say this. Full disclosure, I do own C3 stock. That's part of the reason I'm excited to see some great news here. There is no recommendation coming here as a buy, a sell, a hold. No financial information or recommendations. Simply sharing this news in case you haven't seen it yet. You own the stock. So no time wasted here. Let's jump right in. The Department of Defense just awarded C3 a $500 million agreement. And I'm going to read the quote directly from Thomas Siebel, who's the CEO and founder. The new agreement has a DOD-wide scope, accelerating research projects in simulation and modeling and production deployments for operations and sustainment. We're thrilled to have been selected for these important initiatives and look forward to expanding our work and finding new ways to better serve the U.S. federal government. Now, the reason this is such kind of a big deal, and I want to also call this out too, that the stock, let me see if I got it here for you. The stock in after hours trading is up 23.4% to just under $40. That's huge. That's almost a quarter of gain in after hours trading. And I think these are the kind of catalysts we've really been looking for a little while from C3. Something big, something that can move the company, some good news. And I think this also helps in a bigger way than is obvious at first glance. Yes, it's a big contract. Yes, it's with the DOD. But we're seeing expansion. The fact that we're going into lots of different kind of areas of play with C3 is an exciting moment. My background is very heavily in machine learning, AI, and data analytics, as well as with finance. So those two combinations are things that I get very excited about. Anytime I see these companies like a C3, like a Palantir, like anyone who's in this space doing really cool enterprise-wide kind of work, it's pretty cool. So let's just really kick it off, right? The reason this is a big deal again is we're going to see the acceleration of what we're looking at as adoption of the C3 AI suite and their defense and intelligence applications, some which are already being used in the Air Force, Space Command, RSO, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So just to give you an idea of like what some of these things look like, the current defense and intelligence applications that are being used right now are things like insider threats, security clearance, adjudication, readiness, AI predictive maintenance, modeling, simulation, missile trajectory modeling, and data fusion. Now, here's the deal. I actually do know quite a bit about the realm of AI and machine learning, and so I really want to focus in on what's important here. The goal of AI is not to be a flimsy use case of applying some basic algorithms, right? That's, of course, the baseline of how we build these things out. But the reason this is particularly important in this case is we're seeing it used for a number of reasons that really speak to the platform perspective of what we're talking about here, right? That data aggregation perspective, that missile trajectory. What we're seeing here from a platform perspective is they're basically now going to be able to go and prove that the technology can do a lot. And the reason why you have to think about this in terms of potential, at least for me, the way I look at it, not whether or not I'm going to buy it, sell it, or hold it, but when I'm thinking about why a certain technology is important, I think there might be growth there. This isn't about solving a singular problem. This isn't about fixing one specific thing. Like they're specifying on trajectories, they're specifying on adjudication, right? This is about the ability to do lots of things across a wide and varied foray of initiatives for the DOD. Now, the other piece of this as well, and we know from the earnings that although they absolutely have a big presence in, we'll call it military applications, defense and intelligence, this is where you start to build those products that then become commercialized for the general corporate sort of initiatives, the corporate presence reasons. So this was something that's pretty excited. I happen to just be getting out of the shower, as you can tell by the fact that I look terrible here. But these are the kind of moves we're looking for, right? We know that AI is going to be the future. It doesn't mean that it's C3, but we know that AI, the use of that as an application, use of it as a platform, the ability to build and engineer applications on top of that baseline platform, that's what's important here. We need AI that can drive a lot of things, right? So when I think about AI, what I do for a living is I really look at AI as a platform for creating distributed automatic actions, right? We wanted to create the drivers. We wanted to create proactive and predictive technology that can be built upon extra courses of action. So in other words, we don't just want to know the trajectory of a missile, for example, in this case. We want to know what can happen. What kind of ad hoc analysis can we do? Can we predict outcomes before they happen? Can we change the degrees? Can we anticipate for weather, for wind, for a raindrop tipping on the front of it? This is the way we're thinking about AI in these kind of applications, is really that sort of wide usage, wide application, flexible platform. So there's going to be a lot more news coming in the next couple of days. I have no doubt that it's not going to be a flat check for $500 million. Of course, I don't think anyone thinks that. Excuse me. That's how you know I won't be editing, because you're going to catch that. But I want to get this out right away, because here's the reality. Tomorrow's going to be a big day in the market for C3. It could go up further. It could crash down. But be aware that in after-hours trading, it's up almost a full 25%, or at least getting there. This means there's going to be a lot of eyes. It's going to trigger a lot of alerts in the algorithmic trading, in the high-frequency trading realm. You know hedge funds are going to be watching this. The big question for me is whether we're going to see people taking profits who just got in recently at these all-time lows, or if people are going to be looking to stay in now because they feel like there's an opportunity to get that money back that they maybe jumped in a few months back. So that's it. I expect there's going to be some other channels who have a lot more detail, but the key here is I want to get this in front of you right away before the market opens tomorrow. So without further ado, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you're getting value. And if you are and you're still watching, please subscribe. We always try to get this stuff out as soon as we get news. Thanks so much, and have a good night. And let's see what happens tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.